5 books by 5 female writers. The Diary of a Social Butterfly by Moni Mohsin. I spend 30 minutes every day writing a diary ever since I remember. I still have all my diaries with me which were written since I was 15. It is absolute fun to read them now. They mainly talk about who said what, who was in love with whom, and all the silly details including what I ate that day. When I read my diaries that were written 5 years ago or so, I see a drastic difference. It is amazing to see yourself grow, your thoughts and life getting matured. And to prove that, it is all documented. The book The Diary of a Social Butterfly is written by Moni Mohsin, a Pakistani writer. If I say the book is hilarious, then it would be an understatement. She has used a lot of Urdu in the book. It is more of a chutnification of English language, so it is recommended only for people who understand Hindi. The story revolves around a female character who has a habit of writing a diary. I could probably relate to the book completely because I know that people who write diaries can have utterly nonsense, mundane details, gossip, as well as spicy secrets written in the diary. Just one disclaimer, the humor in this book can get a tad repetitive if you try to read the book in one go. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I knew a girl, she's by far the most beautiful girl I have ever seen in my lifetime. She looked exactly like Madhubala, the yesteryear actress. When we were little, this girl always kept quiet and she sat in a corner and didn't play with anyone. So I immediately tagged her as arrogant. And why not? The one who looks good has to be arrogant. Isn't that a prejudice? This girl's resemblance to Madhubala was so uncanny that even she had a hole in her heart just like Madhubala. So the reason she didn't play with anyone, which I found out later, was because of her health. And who knows, maybe she actually had inferiority complex because she couldn't play like the other kids. And the book Wonder is about the same message, that do not be prejudiced by people's looks. Wonder is a story of a boy born with a genetic disorder that makes his face look all mushed up. He goes through many troubles, from school admission even though he is brilliant, to acceptance from the school kids even though he's super funny and a good-hearted kid. It is a serious topic handled beautifully and lightly. I wish every single adult and every kid read it. It's always possible. I was in 8th grade sitting in a very small restaurant on MG Road in Pune with my friend Ash. This restaurant had long benches to sit on, so everyone coming in would sit on the same bench in a line. A guy came towards us and he asked for an autograph on a 100 rupees note from a lady sitting right next to me. I looked at her. She was short with short hair, wearing long kurta, jacket and pants. I heard Ash scream, "Kiran Bedi!" And then I asked one of the stupidest questions of my life. Is that Pooja Bedi's mother? Ash was completely shocked with my response. But the good thing is, she still acknowledges me as a friend. She replied, "No, she is the first female IPS officer in India." Yes, in my case, ignorance is always possible. Kiran Bedi, not just the first female IPS, but also the first female to reach the highest ranking position in police in India. She transformed India's, and for that matter Asia's, largest and most infamous jail called Tihar Jail, largest in terms of human population. In this book, she has described in detail the corruption, bad condition of food and medical services provided, concerns of women and adolescent prisoners before she was posted to Tihar. She changed Tihar into a place where the prisoners were taught meditation, yoga, reading, writing, various language-related courses and skills like candle making. Her journey of transforming the most notorious jails was definitely difficult, but as she says, it's always possible. Read this book to know how a person can really change impossible to I am possible. At Last Shrugged by Ayn Rand. I mean, of course, if you're talking about female writers, then the recommendations won't be complete without Ayn Rand. The book is wordy. It is 1,168 pages long. It took me several months to read it, but the words are genius. In At Last Shrugged, Ayn Rand shares her philosophy, which she calls objectivism, which in a word is a system of justice. Rand is an advocate of reason, logic, accountability, production, capitalism, human ability, and she believes that working for one's happiness is essential and each person's personal responsibility. She's against pity, mediocrity, taxation, seizing wealth, and production from those who produce to redistribute to those who are unwilling to work hard. I love the main character in this book, Dagny Taggart. She is such an example of intelligence and ability. She runs the leading transcontinental railroad in the country, and Rand created this character in the 1950s. I highly recommend this book. Persepolis. It is a humorous and haunting memoir written by Marjane Satrapi. In powerful black and white comic strip images, Satrapi tells the story of her life in Tehran in years that saw the triumph of the Islamic Revolution and the devastating effects of war with Iraq. This was the first graphic novel that I read and realized that plain textbooks do not take advantage of the massive processing power of our minds. The pictures in Persepolis are absolutely stunning and tell so much more than words do. I have also seen the movie based on this book, but I must say that the book is 100 times better than the movie based on it. Intensely personal, profoundly political, and completely original, Persepolis is a story of growing up and a reminder of the human cost of war and political repression. And finally, it introduces us to an irresistible little girl with whom we cannot help but fall in love. I hope you like these recommendations. Happy reading.